Okay.
And we are live.
Yes, we
As
are.
some of our colleagues would say, welcome back. You are here with dear old dad, as you know, and his jolly mate, uh, the B man, aka Brent. Good to see all of you on this Sunday. Well, I wish I could see you, but we'll get down that road someday. Dad,
Yeah,
how
we
we
will.
doing today?
Fantastic. Doing really good. It's a great little Sunday around here. Kind of a nice chill morning. Just Elizabeth and I chilling out with the dogs. I did a little video earlier today that'll come out tomorrow or later today. I'm not sure. On Patreon. Those of you who are not Patreon members,
Oh,
it's one kind of a series that I'm doing about BRICS and what it all means and where it's all going and all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested, it's on the Patreon.
love it, Dad. Yeah, we're gonna be building out the Patreon. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
doing videos on there. We're gonna review a couple books coming up again. And hopefully I'm gonna do some more economic stuff like I used to for you guys. Crypto books that are really good. We're going to the Silver Symposium. Economic Preppers just came out with a book, so I'm going to be reviewing that. I already started reading it.
Cool.
Great job, guys, on that. We're really excited for you, and we're really excited as a community to check it out. So review that for you guys, and then also the creature from Jekyll Island.
Yeah.
So we're gonna. I turns out you can't get a Kindle copy of that, Dad. It's like blocked or something. I didn't
We
know it
have it.
was. Is it a banned book?
We have it on DVD actually. Or no, not
DVD.
CD.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have
Oh
the old school.
sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we
I need
do.
to. I need to snag that from you. Well, I'll buy a
Yeah,
copy and.
it's really a complicated read and there's quite a bit in there and a lot of it, like I was saying, is very somewhat repetitive because he kind of talks about each country and they kind of all go through the same event. But I've listened to it a couple times, I think now. I
Mhm.
read the book when it first came out, actually. I was recommended that book, God, a long time ago now. I think it came out like '05, I want to say, somewhere in there. Sounds about right.
Wow,
Who
really?
knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to meet G. Edward. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be
Looking
fun.
forward to it. If I
Yeah.
can come by a signed copy, I will be offering that to a Patreon
Yeah.
member when I do the review. So look out for that. Dad,
Yeah.
what are you excited about for Vegas? I
About
know
Vegas.
I asked you yesterday, and you're still really busy, and I am too. But
Yeah.
is there any excitement yet? Anything that you're just looking forward to? Maybe a little pool action.
Yeah. Yeah, I always like a good pool, you know what I'm saying? A little
Hmm.
cabana, a little pool, it's all good.
Yeah.
Just meeting people. You know me, I just love the people mostly. So I'm looking forward to meeting everybody that watches our show or even knows who we are, you know. Hopefully come up to me if you're there in Vegas and just, hey, we'll hook up, we'll do lunch, we'll do whatever we can together and spend as much time with the people that actually care about our show and our content as much as possible. It's not
Yeah.
really our show or our crowd. So I don't think there's going to be that many of our people there, but you never know. But
Mhm.
either way, we'll make new people. So I'm looking,
Yeah.
as always, I'm looking forward to the people, you know, as
Yeah.
always.
Me too. We'll be wearing those hats. Ooh, those hats right there.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for us, everybody.
The
And yeah, we're gonna try
stakeholder.
to make you guys some new friends over there,
Yeah.
which is what it's
Yeah.
all about.
Right. And I'm really looking forward to learning more from some of the guest speakers about who they are, what they got planned, what they got plans for social media events coming forward, more events like this event that we're going to. Who can we hook up with? How can we get to different places in the country and meet different people that are people that are watching this show? And we could come, I don't know, to a town or a convention near you instead of just always in Vegas.
Yeah.
So I know there's a lot going on. I know the economic prepper guys are really excited about that new coin. And I know some of you saw the trailer or saw the interview that I did with those guys, but also we have a trailer on our site. If you haven't seen that new short video, I think it's like 2 or 3 minutes, Brent, but it's really pretty good about the XRP coin, guys. If you haven't, I'm sure everybody in this group right here has probably already seen that video. But if you haven't, go to our website and check out that video because there is a silver coin with crypto on it, actually XRP on it. So really cool.
What a cool idea to merge the two.
I know. I'm so
there's so many of us are precious metal geeks. Me
yeah.
less so. I'm actually really excited to learn more about the history and kind of all the ideas around it. I understand it as money, gold and silver and trade and all those things, but just looking to expand my own ideas on that and how people see it, how people like you see it.
Yeah.
You and I haven't even gotten to talk about it that much, so might be fun to go through some classes and do a video with everybody and
Yeah.
open you up about silver. Specifically, I know that's one that we both love.
Yeah. I need to send you a video, Brent, and I need to look it up for our group. I should have really looked it up by now, but anyway, the guy did a brilliant job, and it's like the 31 reasons why you should own silver, something
Oh,
like that. And it's just a brilliant, well-to-do, well put together video, and it's really good stuff. Yep. Um, let's see.
very cool.
Somebody had a question in here regarding BRICS.
Tell us more about BRICS.
Yeah.
BRICS, please. That's from
Um,
Wooter. What up, Simon? What up, Wooter? We got Northern Living in the chat. We got
yep.
alternate movie trailers. Ollie, thank you so much. Good to see you back. The
Yep.
other Nomad, Patriotist. Oh yeah, we got some home teamers in here, Dad.
Very good. Love it.
Yeah, who needs football? We got
Now,
our what do
got our
what
own
were we
game.
calling it? It was like 2 weeks ago. Everyone's blockchain meditative, Sunday time or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Dad, what do you say about BRICS?
Well, I mean,
What do we know?
again, I'm gonna pimp out my my Patreon channel because here's the thing, guys. Like one of the things about going live on YouTube is you can't even swear. They just like shut you down. So not that we swear anyway, but or even on my regular channel, I can't talk about BRICS. I mean, I can, and everybody says, "Oh yeah, you can, Alan. This channel does it, and that channel does it." And then, a week later, those channels don't exist, or it's not even that they ban you or they shadow ban you. It's really what's worse than that is it just puts a spotlight over you, and it's just like, I don't really need them in my business. There's just something really nice about being able to, oh, this is a Patreon video. I mean, I can't tell you how I just go, oh, thank God, man. I'm with the people who get me. I'm with people who understand what I'm talking about. I can say what I feel like saying. I can say it the way I want to say it, with the emphasis, or I could talk about things that matter to me instead of having to worry about who's listening and what I said and how I said it wrong and how it could be taken wrong. Because one of the things about YouTube that you understand, like the bigger my channel got, the more I understood I would do a video about the color purple. And the whole video was about purple for 20 minutes. And at the end of the video, a comment would come on there and go, I don't even understand why you didn't even talk about purple. Like, that's YouTube. You have 20,000 views and you have 20,000 different people looking at something. It's like, some people didn't even hear a word you said. Like, what are you?
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like, when I know I'm only in a group of like, I think our Patreon's 150 people, it's like, I can just sit down and I feel like I'm talking to this group, this live group. Only I can say whatever I feel like saying. Having said all that, sorry to pump my other channel, but it's really cheap too, guys. There's nothing to it. But like, BRICS right now is setting up the world for all of it. They're setting up the world for you and I. I've been saying this. I've been telling Elizabeth and Brent for 2 or 3 years, and they've been telling me that for that long too. But like, everything is exposure right now. Everything. All the comments, all the people, all the organizations, all the, this doesn't make sense and that doesn't make sense, is all coming together. And BRICS is just this one big giant cloud over what I'm going to call the elite, okay, who are being exposed. Well, that's the biggest exposure they have, okay? But the other exposures are really big too. I mean, they're talking about people that don't even like allow you to say things in a country that is freedom of speech is your first right. Like, although you can't say anything. So all of that is becoming exposure. And so obvious, blatant, black is white and white is black and up is down and down is up is becoming obvious to the everyman. Okay. And BRICS is just one big cloud over their head that is like, how are we going to make this thing stop? And I did a video today, really in-depth video about bonds and money and crypto, what it means to the BRICS countries. And that video actually is going to be coming out this week, and that's going to be on YouTube. So that'll help you out a lot, I hope. Because it's
awesome,
it was a really big, clear event for me. Like, I'll give you, I'm going to steal the mic here a little bit more. I'm going to, like, I'll just give you in a nutshell. The people that print the money were worried about the money being Bitcoin or a crypto of any kind. They were really worried about being the currency, the new currency. What happened was, all of a sudden, this country of El Salvador made a bond out of Bitcoin, which corrupted all the banks in the big business, like your Grayscales and your BlackRock and those guys. They all sat there and went, oh, we thought Bitcoin was going to be money. Oh, it's going to be a bond? No. Now you're playing in our backyard. We're the bond guy. We're the guys that are in charge of the $9 trillion of retirement. Fidelity's like, they can't get into bond because they know once a Bitcoin bond becomes popular, then it's going to be an Ethereum bond and an XRP bond. And then, like, why would we need their treasury bonds and muni bonds? And that created a firestorm, if you will. That firestorm headed right at, we've got to get an ETF to combat this bond market that could hold all of the money in the world, essentially going after it, because of the cryptos could turn into bonds as well. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yep. That was my question to you.
That's what my show is about this week, or one of them.
Nice.
Yeah.
My favorite ones Dad does are when he gets rolling on something and he makes a series out of it. The last one he did was so good, and I'm just getting into the BRICS one on Patreon, Dad, and I'm excited for that. I'm gonna check that out too with our crew. Question. Simon asked what you get with the $50 Patreon membership, Dad.
What
Maybe
what did I
some scantily revealing, photos,
Oh, yeah.
some,
What
yeah,
what
with
what did I do with
it.
it? Uh, no, well, maybe
some
we'll
pool,
reveal that at Vegas.
yeah, some poolside time with us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, we don't, we give it away, man. We're not getting rich over here, guys. I
Yeah,
don't know how else
we're
to put
not.
it.
We're happy if you guys come in at the $3, and
Yeah,
I'm working all the time now to try to answer everybody's comments. Dad's answering
yeah,
comments, and then I'm trying to clean up the ones that we can talk about, especially on
yeah,
YouTube. We can't get into financial advice. Everybody, but places on like Patreon, I've kind of, started to at least be honest about what I'm doing, you know, in
yeah,
the messages and things like that. And so we really do want to make it a little more of kind of. I wrote an article about it. It was kind of our round table,
yeah,
some place where Dad can really open up and not, be hamstrung, by all the information that he comes by. And same thing with me. I'm going to be. I've done book videos with Elizabeth, and we're talking about XRP case. And we're also going to be getting into a lot of really cool spiritual stuff. And so that is going to be, I don't want to be holding myself back on that at all. I want to tell the whole story, and people who are already in our Patreon, we kind of know of them or know them, and it's fun because it's like, wow, we can just go for it.
yeah.
It
I know.
feels like Patreon should feel to any kind of
That's right.
video creator. So we're excited about both. We're excited about
Yeah,
making. I still can't wait to get back and make more YouTube videos for you guys.
and
Especially with Dad, we're going to be doing that in Vegas this whole next week. So
yeah, and Brent and I have some really, like,
this thing's just getting started.
yeah, we're only just getting started here, guys. I
Uh,
mean, honestly, on like a personal level, on a personal growth, spiritual level, on who you can become as a human being once you are doing well in life or financially, and when XRP goes to 500, $1,000 or something like that. Well, now what? Now who you're going to be? That's really what, I mean, I love economics and I've followed it my whole life, and I get it. I get the puzzle and I understand it. And I know a lot of the players. My favorite passion is what kind of human being you're going to become, who you're going to be. That's who I want to hang. I want to hang out with you guys because you're good people and you're fun people to be with.
yeah,
I don't care who you are,
me
what
too.
your job is, but I have to acknowledge somebody here in the chat that I just noticed. Wayne Littlefield, good to have you in, brother.
What's up, man?
He sent me a couple of texts this week, and I have to tell you that the last text that Wayne sent me is really touching, Brent. I didn't share it with you
Mhm.
yet, but I will. And it had a lot to do with his personal growth as a human being because of watching our channel and our content and the interaction that you and I and Elizabeth have with each other. And
Yeah.
thank you so much, Wayne. I don't really have permission to read it on the air, but it was really touching. Yeah.
That's
So,
really cool. Thank you, Wayne.
yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of love and respect in our family, and
Yeah.
that's only grown. We all
Yeah.
we all used to be heavy drinkers, and we used to be, even more opinionated. And I feel like all of us have really just made a giant shift in that. Um, all of all of my parents, all of my step parents, so it's the way to do it. Really good friend of ours from Mammoth. Um, He just 17 years sober. 17 years sober. So somebody who you know well, Dad from the mountain. Um,
Very
and
cool.
I just wrote back to him. I was like, you know what, man, good for you. Like, it's just you're not missing anything, and it just makes life
No.
more clear. You get more done.
Yep.
Uh, and
Yeah.
so there's been a huge shift in our family. Not just
Yeah.
that, but a lot of stuff like this.
I think Elizabeth and I are 6 years, right? 6 years, 7 years,
Mhm.
something like
I
that.
think so. 6.
6 years. July 4th was 6 years. Neither one of us drinking. So we don't talk about that a lot on this channel, but it is really a big thing. It is a personal growth thing. It is dusting off your energy connections to source or light or God or whatever, your
Mhm.
thing is. It helps a lot. I'm
Totally.
not saying that you have to quit drinking, because casual drinking and people that do it very well have a great life and they have a lot of fun doing it. And why would I ever ask anybody to stop having a good time? No way. In fact,
Yeah.
if you're young, I don't even think it's a good idea to quit drinking, but I'm not trying to promote drinking, but if you're young, I don't know why you wouldn't, but anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, there comes a point for all of us where it's kinda you throttle it back. You
Yeah,
throttle it back. It's always good. Always good in everything in moderation.
that's right.
What
Yeah,
my grandpa, the doctor, said.
right.
Moderation.
Yeah.
Wayne, yes. We'll give you ski lessons, man. Actually, you'll probably give us ski lessons now. Um, if you set us up in your place in South Carolina.
Yeah.
With that, that's still number 2 on my list, Dad. If I didn't live back home, I'd probably live in South Carolina because
Yeah.
it's sweet.
I lived in Charleston for 8, 9 months or something. Loved it. Absolutely. If you're a
Yeah,
single man, Charleston's one of the better places I've ever been, personally. I'm just putting that out there. I'm sure it's good if you're a single woman too. It was
yeah,
that kind of town. Yeah.
yeah. It sure doesn't hurt if you work on a yacht either. Sure,
No,
couldn't hurt you.
no,
Couldn't
it was
hurt you.
fun. We had a good time. Glenn had a question here, and I knew somebody would have it. So,
Oh
Glenn
yeah,
Porter,
John Denton.
yeah, yeah, uh,
Deaton.
it's Deaton,
Deaton.
actually. I think he misspelled
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, he did. That's
Um,
yeah. I read it off there. John
yeah.
Deaton, Dad. What do we know?
How about John? I thought what's her name, Becky, would be in today because she was all wound up about this last night in the chat. By the way, we're going to be on Twitter too, guys, coming up, or X. Sorry, we're going to be on X, and we're going to try and follow up with some of these cutting edge leading stories a little bit better. And anyway, John Deaton.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about it. The only thing I know is pretty much what everybody else knows, which is just idle chatter at this point. I know he's decided to do it. And I know he's got a whistleblower, and the whistleblower seems to have a ton of documents that John has read personally that implies not only that that ETH was a security, that it was traded as a security, and it was given privilege or benefit, that why wasn't it thrown into court by, our little weasel, Mr. Burns? And there's a lot of those. So, ETHgate continues. Not only does it continue, it's going stronger than ever. And I really, in my opinion, where there's smoke, right? There's a lot going on with ETH that I didn't like from the start. I mean, I just didn't like it from the start. And I'm talking about like 2007, early 2017. I was like, man, I don't know, man. There's something about this kid out of nowhere. Whenever it's a kid out of nowhere, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, right? It's sort of like whenever it's one guy, I'm going to go there,
One guy.
right? Like, oh, it's Jeff Bezos, or it's, Elon Musk, or it's what's his knucklehead from Microsoft, or I don't even like to use the guy's name.
Yeah, we shouldn't mention that on here ever.
Right. And then the kid from Facebook, and it's just like, wait a minute, I smell a rat here. I don't like boy wonder coming out of nowhere becoming multi-hundred billionaire when anybody could have had that idea. And in fact, all you need to do is do a little bit of homework. It wasn't even a week earlier. I believe it's 24 to 48 hours earlier. Congress had voted down the CIA actually opening a site, which is virtually Facebook. And all of a sudden, oh, this kid came up with this great idea, but the real brains of the operation was the two twins. But they got thrown under the bus, and Hollywood threw them under the bus and made this other guy who I don't want to get
threw them under the bus.
Yeah, just they're the problem. And then they went off and bought. God, I want to say those two brothers have like 100,000 Bitcoin or something. I've heard.
Wow.
Like, yeah, like crazy.
Wow.
But, yeah. So all of that looks very conspiratorial. And then when you look into who his dad is, Vitalik's dad, and who he worked for and what they do and the way they do it. And anyway, it's a deep rabbit hole, really is. And I don't know. I for some reason Deaton's got a lot of momentum behind him, and he's got 75,000 army members behind him. I know that with the XRP crew. So we're excited about cheerleading him on to victory of whatever he can come up with, And it's funny to me, all of a sudden, a lot of people are coming after him personally, like taking personal shots at him. And I thought, well, that's weird. Why? What's he's just trying to help the people out from what I could tell. But then it dawned on me, we live in the age of bots and social media. And so, the system or the man's coming after him from what I can tell. So interesting. Yeah, it's gonna be great to follow that whole thing going forward. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Ethereum.
What's that, Brent?
Ethereum.
I know, right?
What will we do with you, Ethereum?
Yeah.
I don't know, Ethereum.
I have some. I
used to know so much more about it. I loaded my brain on it, Dad. And then it was kind of like, they didn't do the little bighorn. They just didn't little bighorn. They went big cat. They went big cat in jungle.
Right.
And okay, we're going to have big cat in jungle. And now
yeah.
We're at a seminar 2 years ago, and all of us in the room are just kind of looking at each other and talking, and like, is this thing even going to be practical with the fees and how the blockchain is going to work and how all these other tokens are going to interact with it? Like, is this I still think it's going to work. It clearly works, and it just like Bitcoin, it is a huge advancement in how humanity is going to be able to work, and create these tools on blockchain, that we are used to using, that we're used to doing, instead of just holding and trading, holding and paying.
Yeah.
People want other options. And so kudos to Ethereum for giving us those other options. But
yeah,
we would have all liked to have seen, I think, that starting point, be a little more conservative, be a little more, let's slowly grow this thing. It's like we've said about our channel, it's like, let's let's slowly stay who we are and build this
Yeah.
thing. And then we'll have the community, we'll have the love, and we
Yeah.
can be ourselves at the end of the day. And
Right. Right.
I don't know, Dad. I hope that happens for Ethereum. I think hopefully advancements will come out and they'll be able to cure their problems, and
Yeah.
you know
I,
we'll see.
I think when those names come out, I'll give a little more detail about the situation that I know about it. He has a
Mhm.
list of whales, okay, that were early investors. And I want to say they were all in there like peanuts, okay, like under $1. And everybody was like, "Oh, okay, I've got 100 billion of these things, and if it goes to $1, I got 100 billion." And everybody was doing the math, and then they all ganged up and decided, "Well, let's railroad this thing all the way through and just give it a clear path." And then how many senators and congressmen asked Mr. Burns point blank, "Is Ethereum is it a currency? What is it?" And like he wouldn't answer the question. He wouldn't answer the question. Is it a commodity? Is it a stock? Is it a tech? Is it a like he wouldn't even say what it was. He went right into government babble of just like, no, well, we're doing everything we can. And it was like he would not answer the question, which tells me conspiracy all over it, obviously. But if the man who runs the SEC can't tell you what Ethereum is, why isn't he throwing him into court to find out? I mean, that's pretty simple math right there. But yeah,
Yep.
this is going to take about 6 months to a year, guys. Don't get too worked up this week. This is going to take a while. I think I'm going to drag my wife. She's in the other room, so I have to say this kind of quiet. I'm going to drag Elizabeth into this whole case, and then, she'll get into it, and then she'll clear everything up for us. So that'll be a lot of fun. It'll give the three of us something to work on again together.
Yep.
The Musketeers, if you will.
Yep.
Yeah. So I have some really big news that I think is big news.
What?
That what is that? Anyway, I have really big news, guys. I don't know if it's big news. Maybe some of you have heard this. I was going to do a show on it, but I don't think it's significant enough. So I'm probably just going to go ahead and talk about it here. I'll bring it up at shows too in the future. But okay, Grayscale. We all know who Grayscale is. We all know who Fidelity is. We all know who the big players are. Well, Vanguard, okay, is a huge player. Particularly if you know who the Vanguard family is. These people are fully connected for generations, is who Vanguard is. Okay. Not going to use their name here. You can figure it out. Okay. Those people have just decided to spend millions of dollars upon millions through the kindness of their charity to the University of USC. And you say, okay, well, what's this going into? It's going into teaching classes at the university about cryptocurrencies. You say, well, it's not news, Alan. MIT, everybody else has been doing it. Blockchain study. There's a big difference. Here's the big news. It's not in the tech department. It's not in the blockchain department. It's not in the whatever department. It's in the economics courses. So Vanguard, being a company who we know is already trying to get an ETF out there, we already know that the people in college don't want to buy a bond if it was the last thing on the face of the planet. ETF is something that they're going to be able to go, oh, wait a minute, I can go to Robinhood and push, click, buy a ETF. I can buy ETFs through Vanguard. Vanguard is spending so much money they could build a wing on the economics department at USC. Okay. Why?
Sweet. Why?
Well, there's only two reasons. Number one, it is the economic instrument of the future of man. That's my guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be my guess. The other reason is those ETFs are about to be cleared ASAP, because you don't hold a course in economics about crypto in a university in America as being an economic implement or instrument unless it is one, right? Doesn't make any sense. Why? It's not a course in theory, right? So it's an economic instrument starting, I'm going to call it real soon. Real soon. The beautiful part is they didn't use the word, this is my third part of the clincher of the whole news of it. They didn't use the word Bitcoin. They used the word cryptocurrencies, and they didn't use the word blockchain. So that means it is Bitcoin, and it is blockchain, and it is all the cryptocurrencies to me.
Yeah.
They left it vague because all of them are going to be economic instruments going forward. My 2 cents, my analysis of what I saw. Somebody sent that to me, and I was like, they were like, hey, what do you think of this? And I was reading it going, holy, are you kidding me? Like, that's a real deal. Yeah.
Vanguard's pumping it. That's huge.
Well, if you know.
Huge. And they didn't, and to your point, Dad, they didn't pick somebody out to make a special little, well, I'm sure they will have special courses, but that's exciting. That's exciting for the ecosystem.
Especially if you knew who the family was, which I'm not going to say here on live. You can figure it out. Yeah. It's one of the elite families that are part of the member of the Federal Reserve. Let's just put it that way. They're one of the 13 families. And they give a bunch of money to teach crypto as being a financial instrument. I thought that was huge news, but I didn't hear it anywhere on the internet. I was looking around and going, hey, how come nobody saw this? But yeah. What else you got?
Wooter had another good one. The Staple Crew is highly connected. I know it for sure. I like it. At first I was like spiritually, I'm like, oh yeah, no, we're so connected. Like, we're going to this seminar next week, and the only thing I'm thinking about is connecting with people like all of you. That's it. That's right. And making videos with my dad and having fun with my stepmom. That's all I'm thinking about doing. Because if I do that right, I'm going to get the juice to come on here and make the channel more fun and better. And, learn information along the way and get it out there. What is connected to you, Dad?
As far as that show coming up, or connected? Oh,
just in general, what do you take from that comment?
Both. I like. First of all, I just, it's funny that somebody would use that term. Maybe they are a Patreon member. I just did a video about all of us are connected. That was the title of it. We are all spiritually, vibrationally connected. That's why your emotions or your feelings about a subject are more important than the words of it. Okay.
Mhm.
When you talk about your passion or your love for XRP or whatever your coin is, that feeling of passion and that knowing of what's coming in life is more important than the words you say about it. That's connected. We are connected that way. I know we are. Our emotions are all connected to each other. You can be having a conversation with somebody and somebody new walks in the room and the whole conversation, the whole feel of the room changes. That's a level of connection. Okay. The other level of connection is, yeah, I used to be connected to some pretty influential people, and I was pretty good at having cocktails with them, understanding the conversations that they were having, and it being my passion, you know, like when you're, I'll just put it this way. What if your passion your whole life long, okay, was golf, and golf was your passion, and then you became the yacht captain for Tiger Woods? That's what I'm talking about. My
Yeah.
whole passion was economics, was money, was how it works, why it works. And I learned about it when I was really young, kind of through my mom and then through uh, Brent's grandfather. He and I started getting into investments, and how I learned about investments, I was 20 years old. And I was really pounding the door to the point where I learned so much about markets and how they worked that I wanted to become a stockbroker, right? And then I became a forex trader, and then I became, YouTube guy about crypto. I started figuring crypto out really early because I knew it was an investment. Well, think
Mhm.
about that when you're dealing with billionaire bankers and running their boat. I'm like being a golf fan on Tiger's boat. Like, these guys are big time bankers, and I want to know how the whole system works. And that's
Yeah.
what I used to talk about. And they love talking about it because their wife hates talking about it. Their kids don't want to hear them talk about it. So when this captain comes along and says, "Man, I want to know all about that, that financial, the difference between your margin and your cut. What is the difference? Why do you leverage so much to make so little?" Right? And what are the strategies, and how did you get away with it, and what laws got passed, and why were they passed? Now I'm boring everybody here in the room, but that was
No.
my passion. So being connected to those people was huge for me, and I was a good
Mhm.
student back then. And I've lost many of these connections, but yeah, that's connections to me. Those two, spiritual
No, that's the
and
perfect
family.
answer.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, both.
You going through all that, Dad, and having those jobs and meeting those people and having that passion is how we're all together right now. You know,
That's
that's
right.
what you sharing that with me and teaching me about it, even when I didn't ask. I remember not asking, but you're just so passionate that you're like, Brent, I nailed Forex down. Like, I have to
Yeah,
teach you this. Like, this is a golden goose thing
yeah.
for you to understand. And and it was at the time, it was like, wow, this is crazy. This is huge. And
I used to bore people with it.
yeah, not me. Not me. I mean, I fell off your tree. So I mean, it's
Yeah,
like if it gives you the ability to make money and you're in a situation where you are out of work, or you're in a situation where you can invest, it's like, why wouldn't you want to know about that stuff? At
right.
least know something about it, so you can say, oh yeah, I'm into that, not into that. um
Yeah,
I'm trying to be that way now as an investor. It's like, don't be afraid to put in the work to do it, to get it done. And then understand all of it as much as you can if you are
Yeah.
going to get into it.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to, like you said, Dad, get that passion for it. Get that passion into understanding and researching. I think
Yeah.
it's so valuable to like our channel, what we're doing now, you know, and it's so fun. It's like we've happened upon through what you guys tell us, you know, projects that are like, wow, they did change something. They are making the ecosystem better. And so
Yeah.
yeah, we're excited to keep learning and sharing all that.
Yeah.
There was a really cool one. There's a really cool comment on connection, Dad. Alan Brent, love your notion of spiritual connection. This is deeper than just our human life on a day-to-day basis.
Oh,
I
for
agree.
sure.
I agree with that, Steve.
We're going to prove that to you
Um,
guys if you stick around this channel very long. That's
yeah.
it's the magic in all of us, and it's amazing, and it's limitless to what
Mhm.
you're capable of. We diminish our ability and our lives through the ignorance in which we've been taught. You know, you are much bigger and better than you've ever been taught. And
Yeah.
how about busted golf? Hey, golf is what I'm infatuated.
Busted golf.
I gotta love
Yes.
that. Hey, wherever in the Midwest, we're gonna play 18 with that guy or girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love golf. Last time Dad and I were together, we played golf.
Yeah.
That was one of the most fun times I've had with you too. It was just chill. We were
Yeah.
planning good enough, you know.
We didn't
Yeah.
lose too many balls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't lose too many balls. It was great.
Yeah, it was good. We're not serious golfers. We love the game, don't get me wrong, but we're not
Mhm.
serious. Uh, what else you got in there, Brent?
Let's see.
Yeah. Somebody got under my skin in the comments last week about my last video. I did a video about Stronghold, and I'm sure some of you saw it. But he's like, "Oh man, you didn't even tell us anything about Stronghold," and "Oh man, that was a terrible video," and this and that. And I was like somebody asked me a question. I think it was even Jason who just commented, but somebody asked me a question, and it went like this: "What are your favorite coins, plural, under a penny?" And I thought, well, that'd be kind of a cool. Let me dig around and see what I can come up with. Stronghold is my favorite coin under a penny. That doesn't mean when I do that video, it doesn't mean it's a deep dive and I'm going to go all the way into everything going on in Stronghold. I simply found a coin that was under a penny. And it was kind of frustrating to me. I was like, this dude, like, yeah, I know you own Stronghold for the last 5 years. Yeah, you know way more about that coin than I do. There's no question about that. I didn't tell anybody to buy it. In fact, I was very clear about the fact I don't even own that coin. I'd like to, and I might in the future, but it sometimes it's like people are like, dude, you shouldn't even be on the internet because you don't know enough about that coin. It's like, dude, there's what are we, 40,000 now coins? Something
Yeah.
crazy. Is it like, okay,
We're not trying to tell you guys how to think about it.
no,
We're just telling you to go look at it for yourself.
right.
That's the whole point. That's
I'm
the whole
just,
point.
the whole
Get you a
point of the
little
video.
excited about going to look for it. That's it.
Yeah, the whole point of that video was the fact that they're dealing with IBM, Ripple, XLM, and I'm missing somebody, or not R3, somebody else on a day-to-day basis, and they're less than a penny. I'm just saying, that's all I'm saying. They're dealing with some of the biggest people in the industry, and their future looks really bright, and they're under a penny. So, and I know numbers. I know they got 1 trillion coins or whatever they got. I get it, but still, you can own 1 million of those fairly cheaply and if it goes to $1, you can do math, right? Anyway,
Love it. Is Polkadot a good project? I would say yes, because they build bridges, and we're gonna need bridges, like for
yeah,
sure.
they do.
Gonna need bridges.
They connect everything to everything, is what I know
Mhm.
about them. I used
Yeah.
to really be into Polkadot a couple, 2, 3 years ago, and I haven't really kept up on it. So um,
hmm
I should
Same.
really,
No, yeah, I need to look back into what they're doing.
yeah,
But yeah, it's like Dad, very excited.
yeah.
It's yeah, we need companies to do exactly what they're doing, and it's important. There's there's something about bridging blockchains to me, and it's like I think it's going to be the key.
Okay. At the hand of the day, I also blame someone if something doesn't work out. Oh yeah, yeah. Do your own research. You know, really, it's that's kind of one of the other things that bum me out in the comment section. It's like, oh, I'm buying that. It's like, whoa,
Whoa,
that's not what I
whoa!
was saying. But yeah, all right. I guess you
Stop!
could.
Hey, stop! Wait,
Yeah,
wait, wait!
yeah,
That's what I see. That's how I feel when I read those comments. I'm like, wait,
yeah,
no.
yeah. But I, God, I had this debate. I already did a video about it, but I had this. It wasn't a debate. It was a conversation with a guy, and he's a huge XRP fan, and I'd never met the man before. Right? I didn't know him. He didn't know me, and I was dropping off. We have a small farm, so I was drop. He's a very good friend of my wife's, and he works with my wife. And I was like, well, okay, I'm going to drop off some pork for them. So I did. I dropped it off, and he starts right in on me about crypto, and I'm looking at him going, well, clearly my wife told him that I'm into crypto. And he looks at me and he goes, so which one are you? Are you a fan of XRP? I was like, oh yeah, definitely for sure. And that was last week, so there was a big news out about Bitcoin. And I said, "What did you see what's going on with the banking system and Bitcoin?" And he looks at me, "No, I don't buy Bitcoin." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. Okay, that's cool." But he's like, "So really, you're into crypto?" And I was like, "Maybe Elizabeth didn't tell him. I don't know." Here's a man I've never met before. I'm supposed to meet this guy for the last 6 months. I pull up in the side of a freeway. We meet, right? Just to exchange a cooler. And the
Mhm.
first thing out of his mouth is crypto. And I come back to Elizabeth. I said, does this Eddie, his name's Eddie. I said, does Eddie know that I do a crypto channel? And she's like, no, I never talked about that guy about crypto, about anything. I was laughing, going, I got
Huh.
to do a video about that. That's that's the
Love
kind
it.
of connection we all have, guys. Yeah, we just do. We're all
This week, I explained all this stuff to like a couple of my best friends, like people that I see every week, where it just kind of came up in conversation. Like I'm talking about, the channel and what we're doing to kind of expand what we're doing, and just work stuff. And a couple conversations came up this week, Dad, where it was just started going, and I always draw the wheel now. I used to do it on the blockchain 5 videos, but draw the wheel and you know help everybody understand about decentralization, immutability, tokenization, um, distribution. You need to understand like the philosophical core concept of how the code and everything is actually created, like why they created it that way. And so explaining the
yep,
philosophy to me is how people are going to get it. You explain decentralization, well, you just teach them peer-to-peer networking. And then
yeah.
because everybody's just like, well, I think Bitcoin, and it's gone down, right? And it's like, let me give you the philosophical, let me give you the why. we're all supporting this, why we're all doing this, why we have channels, why we have followers, why those people probably want their own channels. Hopefully you guys do your own channels someday. I wish
Yeah.
that for you, because it's brought us great joy. But getting into the depth of it just a little bit, I had with one of my good friends, I had one of my favorite kind of discussions about it, but also kind of teaching moments. It was like, it reminded me that I can be a really good teacher of it. And so that's what I'm going to try to focus on going
Yeah.
forward with this for sure. Cause it's there, the passion showed back up, it showed back up,
Yeah.
Dad. And then all of a sudden can you have a pen and paper? And I'm like drawing, circle and little
Right.
diagram. And I'm like doing math, and it's like, this is, so exciting. And it's so fun
It
when you
is.
really understand it, when you understand the core principles of blockchain. And it's gotten, very complex.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about earlier with ETH. I mean, it's not just, um,
Yeah.
proof of work Bitcoin anymore. It is just an entire new animal. And so understanding that is it's fun. Researching is fun, and getting into, um instead of talking about price and talking about, yeah, well, it's got a
Yeah.
future, I know it. I tend to go that way with people now, everybody. Like I try to go down that road of, here's the philosophy, here's the history of our
Yeah.
economic system in our lifetime, and just in our lifetime, what is, what are the things that we don't want, and then what are the things that blockchain provides that we do want, and go down that road.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it
it's just to me,
it's
it's the only way to do it.
it's really a collision of mankind. That's where it's all headed.
Hmm.
I mean, it just there's no other way to look at it. We're all going there. They just don't know
Yeah.
it yet. It's really that's one of the things okay, as I told my story a little bit ago, but like one of the single most incredible things in the history of economics, in my opinion, okay, that's ever been created, ever in the history of man, is staking. It's absolutely brilliant. Okay. It's like dividends on steroids. It just makes way more sense than dividends. If you guys know anything about the dividend, receiving dividends from a stock company, and they have to produce and they have to have a profit margin of such and such to give it. No, when you stake your coins, you solidify the network. The more you solidify the network, the more coins you get back in return, strengthening the corporation fundamentally. And the coins are the product. So the combination of crypto being what it is and staking, the staking element of it, I'm telling you, it's the most incredible thing, because there's going to
Hmm.
come a time in your lifetime in particular, Brent, that you're going to say, oh, well, I own, XRP and I stake it, or I stake Cardano or whatever it is. And you're going to make tens of thousands of dollars a month, because what the number is today, the retail price of today, doesn't mean squat compared to where it's headed.
Hmm.
And it's just gonna be enormous, because you're gonna be able to borrow against it, you're gonna be able to leverage it, you're gonna be able to collateralize it. It's going to be the fundamental of your financial foundation,
Yeah.
and it keeps coming. You don't have to try and earn money, it's gonna keep coming at you, and it's huge, and it blows. I know it took Wall Street by storm. And they were like, "Uh-oh, what is this? What do you mean? How does that work? Well, why would they do that?" You know? And then once
Hmm.
they wrapped their head around it, it was too late. They were like, "Oh my god, why didn't we think of that?" You know? And
Yeah.
maybe they did. Maybe they did to some degree. Yeah. Really cool.
Whatever. it just feels like whatever the work was for them to change it or do it just didn't happen. I was like, we're making enough cut here.
Right. Right.
Let's just keep selling what we're doing.
Yeah.
It feels like that to me with the politicians and these giant banks and these.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's what are we 15 years in now? Like, and
Yeah.
granted,
Or
it's still
more.
very young for anything.
Yeah.
Um, Technologically, especially something like this where it does affect how we all live. The economy affects everything all over the world, and the transitions into it are going to be very fascinating in the
Yes.
future. I hope
Oh,
they're
yeah.
I hope they're good transitions for people. That's all I hope.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and that there's people like all of us, everybody in the chat, Dad and I, that are saying, hey, look at this, check it out. Maybe you get in early on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun.
Don't put your family's life savings on it, but I mean,
Mhm.
it's still not too late to get into some amazing projects, as we all know. Yeah. It's so good. And it's coming, guys. The fundamentals are so huge right now. They're just like it. I don't know if you guys saw the news this past week on, was it Germany? Yeah, Germany's stock exchange is now, listen to this, insuring staking. So it Cody's comment right up here just reminded me one of the biggest lessons learned
Mhm.
that which triggered the news.
Yeah.
In Germany, there's a company and a stock exchange that is guaranteeing the staking returns of your coins on their exchange. Done.
Done.
Why Wall Street isn't doing that, why they aren't adopting it is pure greed. Pure
Mhm.
greed. It has nothing to do with anything other than control, greed, and their monetary system and the game in which they played for 100 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
And they're going to be forced to have to do it. Yeah. And just think about what I was talking about earlier in the show. When your pension funds are buying XRP and staking them, and all the staking is insured, like FDIC, think about FDIC.
Mhm.
Why would you put your money in a bank? Why, if it's insured and you're staking and you're making, I don't know,
Dad,
6 to
because
10% annually.
people still believe that FDIC insures up to 100%. People still believe that.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do up to 250 grand or whatever it is now. But yeah,
Right.
but they
But,
just print
you
it
know,
to give it to you. Yeah. They create inflation to pay off those bad accounts. Is what they do. They
Mhm.
print it to pay it back. FDIC doesn't have, I don't know, what is it, 2% of the holdings of all the money in the bank? So they
Yeah.
can't, yeah, so they have to get it, they have to borrow it from the Fed, right?
Jim reminded me about derivatives, and it's the same. When you have a dip, when you have a bad bull, and that's how you run things. That's how banks run things. Like
Yeah.
that creates a very unstable system. In my mind, it's like because all of us in here probably in the team of like you're inflating our currency, you're burning my
Yeah.
money, you're burning the value of what I have agreed to trade with you and everyone around me.
Yeah. Yeah.
um and I had little to no say in that. And
Right.
it's I think a lot of us would rather take the pain on some of
Yeah.
those decisions, Dad, than
Yeah.
live the way that we're living now, where it's like, what can we trust? What can we
Yeah,
gamble on? What can we invest in?
that's right.
It's
I'm seeing some comments in there.
interesting.
When I say I watch the news, that means crypto news.
Mhm.
I don't own a television. I don't watch news. I don't I don't even go to mainstream YouTube channels anymore for the news. I just can't. There's too much slant going on. It doesn't allow me to think for myself, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yes, I don't watch the news. Please, guys, if you are watching news, make sure that you're intoxicated and make sure you got the sound off, you know, and
Mhm.
I don't know, have your phone in your hand while you're doing it. I don't know, but don't
Yeah.
don't take it seriously, whatever they say. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, think
yeah,
of the whole picture. Think of the big picture.
yeah,
Anytime
and
I see it's on in the gym and
do the
somebody's
opposite.
got it on, I just okay, what are they talking about? And what is
Yeah,
the opposite of that?
exactly.
What is the exact opposite of that?
Yeah,
And where could the truth possibly lie?
they occasionally get the weather accurate. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
Beyond that, no, they're not very accurate. I you brought up banking, and there's something I got a little rant that I'd like to go on here.
Woo.
One of the things that we all really we forget is that what they've done to money isn't real. Okay, money is okay. Whoever you bought your house through didn't have or own the money that they loaned you, and yet you owe them thousands of dollars each month for the money in which they didn't own that they loaned you. And when you don't pay that for 30 years, they take your home from you as if they had paid for it. They didn't. They haven't. They created the money the moment you bought the loan, the house. How in God's green earth does that make sense to anyone who understands that principle? They have the right to play owner of the world and tell you that you have to pay them for it. And it's ruining people's lives. And it's not fair and it's not honest. However, I'm going to a seminar this weekend where everybody and their brother is going to tell me what I just said. And I get it and I know it and I understand it. There's a bigger picture that nobody looks at. And that is this giant storm cloud that, well, what happens when that stops? And nobody ever has that answer for you, ever. And it's the biggest I contemplate that every hour of every day. How do I predict what's about to happen? And even the people that think they have it all figured out, like some of the other YouTube channels, oh, it's going to do this and it's going to do that. They're basing it on just like last time. They're basing it on what history has showed them.
Patterns.
But when you stop the money machine and it goes to what gold bugs would prefer or Bitcoin or crypto people would like to be honest, sound money, then what? And the what is this? As politely as I can put it, a third of the planet starves to death.
Hmm.
That's reality. Okay. There's no other way to look at it. So every time I hear people tell me, oh, I've got to have honest money, we got to stop this printing, and we got to stop this liquidity, and all this is fake money. You be careful what you wish for, because it could be a real disaster for many, many years to come. And yes, banks are the biggest scam. Crypto AI, you are absolutely correct. They are the
Yeah.
biggest scam on the planet. But without that, man, music stops real quick.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No banks tomorrow.
no liquidity.
Scary.
Yes.
Scary.
Yeah. And I heard was a couple of weeks ago now that, you know, I don't believe it to be true, but there was some kind of news out that Ripple was talking about they're getting away from ODL. Um, that ain't without ODL, we don't need Ripple or we don't need XR. Well, I shouldn't say we don't need it. We do need it for transaction speeds and whatnot, but we need the online liquidity, on demand liquidity. That's what we need. So if we can get that up and running fast and everybody partaking in it and using it and using their own wallets and become their own bank as quickly as possible, like Brent always talks about, always, if we can get adoption going fast, that's our only savior for the music stopping. That's our
That's it. It's us holding it.
And barter, local barter. Yeah. Yeah.
All money is loaned into existence. I love that, Chris.
Yeah. How about like, yeah, I love this Voice Ireland, right? I want Bob Menendez had in his safe. Okay. Those of you who don't know the Bob Menendez story this week, that's hilarious, man. Here's a guy that for the last 5 years has said that only crooks, thieves, money launderers, and criminals use Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. Yeah. And now he's going to jail for criminal money laundering. Be careful. Be careful when you're money laundering to accusing others of it. Just be careful out there.
Yeah.
He's in deep water, man. That guy, and he is so fully connected to Miss.
Oh man.
Her name is Nancy, and her last name starts with a P. And those two are thick as thieves. And they are both in that whole thing is a house of cards. Really is.
Yeah. The American political system is, I mean, this country literally produced a television show, a very famous television show about just that. Like,
yeah,
that's how big a house of cards this shit is. Pardon me, stuff is. And could somebody come in and change it? I don't know about that, Dad. I really don't know about that because we've seen the network. We've seen the same network, the same people make it into all these administrations, and it's gonna take, man, it's gonna take something different than what we've had previously in my lifetime. It's gonna take something much different. I wish that for our country. I do. There's just great people here, and people that believe in themselves and each other. And we want to see prosperity. And
truly,
you hit it, Dad. It's like we're gonna need to hold on to digital money, in whatever form we choose to transact with, and what we choose to hold. Like it's gonna come to that. And so, just us being prepared, us building our communities, us, building our relationships and connections, it's like that's how you insulate yourself from chaos, destruction, FUD, and I that's what I see for us as individuals doing that. It's like that's the best I can talk about on here, private wallets.
Jason, I read your email. Can you speak on taxation, saving enough for government when taking profits? I'm not a tax expert. In fact, I can't even spell tax, that's how much I really despise the whole game. It's
Mhm.
it's legally and written by a bunch of attorneys to confuse everybody so that they have tax loopholes for the wealthy, and the rest just can't make heads or tails of it, so they just pay it. And yet we still in this country celebrate the 4th of July, which was a day against tax, and yet we are taxed on virtually everything now, including food, which was never meant to be. So
Yeah.
taxation with me is like nails on a chalkboard. I don't I have an accountant for that. I suggest when you make good money off crypto that you get yourself a good tax accountant and don't listen to a guy on YouTube. That's my best tax advice.
Yep.
I'm not a tax guy, man. I'm really not. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm gonna do, Dad. Period.
Right.
Make
Yeah.
money crypto, find tax. I already have one I want to go to.
Yeah.
It's
Preferably an ex-con for tax evasion. Get him
yeah,
as your tax accountant.
yeah.
That's my that's my
He's a
best
real good
tax
guy
advice.
though. He's really cleaned his act up.
That's my best tax advice right there. He knows all the tricks.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it
Oh
family.
man.
Uh,
What's up, Jay? What's up, Jim?
yep, we got
Jason in here.
yep. Yeah, that's good
Messiah
stuff.
Leo. Like it.
I'm I'm so glad people spend a couple hours or an hour and a half, whatever it is, every time on Sundays with us. It's good fun. Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
yeah,
We're hour 16.
yeah.
Let's do one more good
Party.
run here, Dad, and let everybody enjoy.
Yeah. Well, you asked me, Brent. I'm going to ask you. What are you looking forward to in Vegas this coming weekend?
Same as your answer, of course. Um, I'm looking forward to meeting some of the people that you've met previously, like in this year's XRP event.
Yeah,
There's some really YouTubers that do it different than we do it. Um, Dad and I are seat of our pants, draw from the hip. And
yeah.
some of these people are doing it 5 days a week, and have a whole team and you know, are bringing us a lot of really good content and a lot of really, interesting news and stuff. And so I just want to, you know, befriend them and pay my respect, to following their channels and just I think the same as what people would do walking up to us, Dad.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
exactly.
want to I want to be I want to be a part of that cycle. It's like I'm not above you know speaking to anybody or interacting with anybody. I'm not going to be shell shocked seeing anybody. It's like just like I'm going to go up to people who have much bigger channels and way more money and people that we all
Yeah.
know like um I want everybody to feel comfortable always coming up to my dad and I because that's the kind of
Oh
human
yeah.
beings that we are. And so I'm just going to try to create that mood, Dad. Try to create that mood, where
Yeah.
it's just like, hey, have you met Lewis, or have you met,
Yeah.
Lewis probably won't be there, but have you met,
No, he won't be there.
all these, have you met Patrick? I just met him, and
Yeah.
really just try to connect people like we've been talking about. I'm gonna try to connect myself with a lot of people and
Yeah.
make get some phone numbers and I'm really enjoying talking to people just outside the chat and outside the channel now who
Yeah.
we've kind of become friends with. So I say it all the time and it's so true. It's like you go to those things to make friends. You
Oh
go to
yeah.
those things to make lifelong you find lifelong connection people.
Yeah, we
and
do. Yeah.
and I'm always looking for that. I'm always looking for those
Yeah.
people who
And,
need to be in our life.
and now we're stuck with this some Simon guy that keeps hanging around. I don't know.
I know. I know.
Dealing with that every
Mm,
day.
mm, mm, mm. we Yeah, we really love Simon Says Crypto, everybody.
Yeah.
Please check him out. Simon just does a fun show. He's just a fun person, and
He is. Yeah.
he's so sharp.
Yep.
Um,
We try and keep it light.
and somebody
So
that you'd want to be friends with, trust me, because
oh yeah.
he's totally won me over.
Yeah.
Um,
You know, the elementary entrepreneur just mentioned something. You guys explain things easy to understand. One of the greatest,
Thank you.
uh, one of the greatest compliments you can give somebody is um, when you can when somebody can explain something to you really simple and really easy. That's when you know they know a lot about it. Because a lot of people can complicate you with fancy words and graphs and charts, and they know the hit words and the lingo, but it's
Hmm.
confusing. But people that really understand things, they can explain it to you as if you were in second grade or third grade. The people that can teach like that, and that's what I've learned over my lifetime, when you can teach simplicity in ways that all people can understand evenly, you affect and touch the most people. That's
Yeah.
the best way to do it. My wife is just the worst. What are we going to do with her? She's over here making faces. I'm trying to do a show here.
Burn.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
That- Yep.
Anyway, yes,
Thank
elementary
you so
entrepreneur.
much for
Yeah.
that comment.
He's our,
That's
I think
everything.
that's our 12-year-old guest, I think. Wasn't he? No. No, it's an old
Maybe.
picture. That's right. He's not that age anymore. Yeah.
Hmm. Nice.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah, there
anyway.
the tuning into to thank you all for tuning into two surfer golfer dudes, who really love boating. It's just we found this, and Dad had this lifelong passion for money and trade and understanding how it all works. And he wanted to be well off, and he wanted to go do
Yeah,
fun things and travel and have that kind of life that a lot of us dream about. And
yeah,
my dad's had such an interesting life. So have I
yeah, we
already
both know.
that it's made my dad a really great storyteller. And when I'm watching his videos, it's just fun to sit there and be like, "Wow, man, like
Yeah,
I can get down with Al's story right now," and he's making it simple for me to understand the concepts that he's wanting to share, and he's also making it fun and
yeah,
making me feel kind of loved and connected. And
yeah,
so you've done a great job with that, Dad, and I always try to mirror that whenever I come on. That have fun with it. Try to tell good stories and try to keep things simple.
yeah. I love Jason's simplified with unwavering belief. That's the key right there. That's
Yes.
it. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And Jason, even when your friends say to you, "Oh, well, that's mathematically impossible," and I'm like, "Yeah, well, let's see. Bitcoin went up 88 million times. I would say that would have been mathematically impossible if somebody had told me that 15 years ago.
Yeah. There's
Went
like
up 88
fire,
million times, it multiplied.
cell phones,
Yeah.
Bitcoin. There's a there's a quite an adoption rate on it. If if you never just stared at the chart for like 10 minutes, stare at the chart for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
'Cause it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
It's like Saylor always says. He's like, well, it's either going to 0 or it's going to 1,000,000. You know? It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, you're right, dude. But I don't think it's going to 0 ever. I don't like. I would personally own it for $5. I'd own all the Bitcoin for $5, and then
Yeah.
I'd figure out a way for us to all use it again. I That's it.
Yeah.
Redistribute.
Yeah. I'm just so proud. I'm really just proud of everybody that owns XRP. I just hang in there, kids. It's just going to
Yeah.
be a slippery slope for a bit, but whew, man, every time I look up, it just does something else, and the next thing, and the next thing. And the other thing that a lot of people aren't really getting right now is all the success on the fundamental level that's being presented to Bitcoin is coming to the next two coins below it, which happens to one of those happened to be XRP. That is, it's not maybe anymore. This is fundamentally ingrained within our university in the US, and it's being passed by laws. I mean, in courtrooms, and it's happening. And banks and institutions who truly run the world, not the courts of the laws, believe it or not, the banks run the world, and who owns the money or controls the money rules the world. I think that was one of those families that said that. Anyway, can't say his name, but it's so true. Well, when those people are investing, I think you're in the right spot. And then the biggest clincher for me that really sets me off in the last 6 months is the price hasn't done anything. And I was at the feed store yesterday. I'm talking to this guy, and he's just looking at me like, yeah, man, you've told me that for a year now, and the price hasn't done anything. And I'm just, as soon as he came out of his mouth, I was like, wow, man, there's another one. He's just not going to be there with us. He's not going to be there when the rainbow happens. Or he's going to be the guy that when XRP is $10, he's going to go, oh man, should I get in now? Is it going to be, oh man, how much should I put in? You know? And they're going to be like, I can't recommend you buying right now. Why? I can't. I mean, I don't know if it isn't going back down to $1.50, you know? How can I recommend you getting in at 10? It's never been there before, you know? So
Right.
it's so sad. And I'm not that kind of guy. So I'm probably going to be the person that's going to be able to talk him off the ledge anyway. But I just don't have the energy for it. I just don't. I'm just that guy. It's just going to be a year or two from now when it's at $10. I'm just going to be going, sorry. Yeah, you missed it. You just missed it. Wait for the next one. You know, it's going to be a bull for a year and a half, and then it's going to be 3 or 4 years of wait. And wait for that one, maybe. I don't know. But it's so.
Yeah, Dad and I are like geese. We're just happy to just be sitting on our eggs. You know, we are perfectly content just sitting on the eggs. Like,
right.
You got somebody coming up to you, Dad. It's like, oh, you know, why is XRP still at 50 cents, man? What's going on?
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of variables, man. I don't know what to tell you.
And the only people that are talking about, think about this. I just painted this picture, but the only people that are actually talking about crypto are the banking institutions up. And they're talking about it every day. And they're buying it. And they're buying it over the counter. And these people are passing new laws and opening new exchanges. And like I just explained, in Germany, just opened that exchange, and they're going to ensure staking. Those fundamentals are massive, because if you're an exchange, you don't insure staking for you. Who are you insuring staking for? The people walking into your institution to buy it. They don't care. They don't go, they're not implementing insurance for themselves. They're implementing insurance because they know the people are coming.
Yeah.
It was so clear to me, and that fundamental news, nobody below the level of $500,000 a year is talking about it. Nobody, except for the people that are already in our group, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
We got some good comments that including I've tested positive for XRP.
I lucked out.
Almost lost it right in the middle when you were talking.
That is good.
Uh-huh.
Like
Lynn, much love to you and your brother.
yes.
And the comments are so good today, everybody. Thank you. What's up, X-rated pennies? Jim and Steve and Al's Pawn have been getting after it. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'd like to know where you found the 3 trillion waiting to be infused into the market. Learning how you did that would be incredible.
In a nutshell, take the assets of Vanguard, BlackRock, Fidelity, Grayscale, the usual players. I'm missing a couple. Citadel. Okay, add them all up, and they came out and they said we are advising up to 1% of our investment total. So it was about 30 trillion. Okay, so there you go. What's 1% of 30 trillion? So it was, for me, it was like, okay, if they're going to go as high as 10%, this is where it gets crazy. If you start looking into what they've already allocated, it's a drop in the bucket. They haven't even started purchasing it yet. And there isn't any to buy. There isn't any Bitcoin to buy, guys. Bitcoin's done for. I mean, like, if you don't own Bitcoin yet, you're not gonna own it. Like, if you don't own it before 2025, you'll never own a Bitcoin. I was telling you right now. Already people look at me, especially people who own XRP, and they go, well, $30,000. Are you out of your mind? I'm just not even thinking about it. Well, the billionaires are buying it. So is it going to stay at 30? No, it's probably not. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. 1% of 300 billion is 3. Yeah. But
yeah, Dad was extrapolating on 10%.
Right. So they said 1 to 10%. And I said, well, okay, 10%. All right, I'll go with that, because I'm not including all the organizations. I only took the top 5. And then when you look at the market, it's a 3. What is it? What is all the currency in the world is $700 trillion. If you took all the currencies in the world, it's $700 trillion. So if you take the 700 trillion and you divide 20, whatever that is, 20 million Bitcoin into that number, you have 500,000, right? Anyway, doing math on TV here. This is not good. But anyway, that makes a $500,000 Bitcoin. Now that's not ETFs. Okay, that's just total money on the planet. If just that amount of all the money on the planet goes into it, that makes a $500,000 really fast, real fast. Yeah. Yes. Jay Cryptominded. I'm thinking 7 to 10 trillion. We talked about that. I think it was 2 shows ago, didn't we, Brent? We were talking about that. I think it will be 10 trillion. We hit 3 trillion last bull, right? So
Yes, that sounds something like that.
yeah, we were over 3 trillion, I think, 3
Mm.
point something. So I think it'll hit, yeah, 7 to 10. Because remember, guys, institutions are coming this time. We hit 3 trillion when it was only you and I. It
Yeah,
was just the people.
yeah.
Yeah. So institutional money is coming. And
Mhm.
again, where's institutional money going to put their money? Are they going to buy T-bills? Maybe. I mean, if the interest rates keep going up, uh, maybe. But you're going to have this halving happen in spring. We know what happens after that. We almost we always have a bull market after that.
Mhm.
So are they gonna sit back? Are all their analysts gonna sit there for Fidelity and go, it's happened 4 times over the last 15 years, but this time it's not. So let's not invest. No, they're looking at this bull market too after every halving. And they're gonna go, well, let's get out ahead of this thing and let's invest right before. And they're gonna create the bull market. We It's simple investing, but
Mm.
yeah. Um, yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
God, the math. Let's talk about sipping cocktails at the beach club. What's up?
exactly.
What's up, Al's Pond?
Roger that.
Yeah, copy that. We'll be in the pool
Yeah,
area in Vegas this week.
I will have an
Thinking
umbrella.
about such things.
I will have an umbrella on my drink. It'll just be iced coffee or something. But yeah, there
Mhm.
will be an umbrella.
Yeah, it'll still get dad all jacked up. And yeah, I'll be doing the same. It's yeah, no cocktails for the B man either. It's gonna be caffeine and it's gonna be loving on people like a Care Bear. Okay, that's what's going on this week.
Yeah,
That's the kind of world that I want to build around me.
yeah,
I want people like you guys. I love this. Now, this went from my least favorite thing on the channel that I was a part of to my favorite is doing the live chat. And least favorite just because it was like I'm not the price guy. I'm not the guy that's like, oh man, it's this and this, and the people who are asking dad about, why isn't it at $20 yet, or why isn't it
yeah,
gone
yeah,
through the roof? It's like I'm not that guy at all. Like I just want to learn the fundamentals. I want to hold my crypto, and I want to see how it all plays out for us. And hopefully we can make moves and we can make change, and people like us are the ones who help others get into it. We help change law. We help, create, a culture and society where we see the benefits of decentralization and tokenization, and we use them for our own advantages. And that to me is going to be the key.
yeah,
And that's why we talk about how important you guys are. It's not just because we want you to be here, it's because you're that important to what is going to happen with all this. As investors, as people who are hodlers, as people who are going to be staking, as people who are going to be buying, selling, trading, loaning, all of it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's going to
Oh
be
yeah,
us.
that's it.
That's going to be us. We're the early ones. We are the early ones. And that's going
I
to be way more fun down the
Yeah.
road. Way more fun.
Um, crypto AI is not crypto related, but what do you think about the UN declaring it's bankrupt? Well, it's been mentally bankrupt for a very long time. It was they're a corrupt agency, and they've never done too many good things, to be honest. I mean, all you need to do is figure out how they started and why they got started and who started them. Who started them? Look into that, and then once you have listened to the hundreds of speeches from global leaders that gave the world warning of exactly what was going to happen, and nobody listened, and then it happened exactly the way the person presented it at a speech at the UN, and coincidentally nobody ever brought it up again. That's happened dozens of times in the last 20 years. And I'm talking about leaders such as Muammar Gaddafi. I'm talking about Xi Jinping. I'm talking about Putin. All of these leaders have declared things that were going to occur before they occurred. And then when they occurred, zip. Nobody said, hey, well, wait a minute. Wasn't there a guy that talked about that like for the last 5 years endlessly? And nobody listened? Yeah. So why do we need that corrupt agency? That'd be great if they go belly up. They're
Yeah, it'd probably be better for the world,
and then
I
who was it?
guess.
One of my favorite guys, Bukele, put it best, right? The president of El Salvador. He said, they said, oh, you were invited to the UN in New York. Are you going? He just big smile on his face said, I have no interest in dating people younger than I am. That's what he said. And he said a different word, but I can't because it's live YouTube. And I have no interest in being around a bunch of people that absolutely don't even know where my country is on the map.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what he said. And I was like, man, I love this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. Doing good things, that guy.
Aloha to everybody in Hawaii. We got a couple people in from there today,
Yeah.
from Maui and Oahu. Much love to all of you.
That's morning over there.
XRP joining in the house. Jim might get the Spicy Award today. I love it. I'm loving it. Yeah, I heard of God, Jim. And yeah,
Yeah, we have.
Jim saying don't follow the
Yeah.
herd off of the cliff with Bitcoin, and could be true. It could be true. I don't
Bitcoin,
know.
LOL. That kind
Yeah,
of reminds me of the comments we got. What was
love
that?
it, Jim.
Yeah, I love you, brother. We got comments 2 weeks ago when we brought up Michael Saylor, and everybody's, oh, that guy's an idiot. I'm like, excuse me? Like,
yeah, what?
He was studying to be an astronaut. He was tops in his class as a fighter pilot, and then he became graduated 2 or 3 in computer science from MIT, and then decided that he'd start a company, and it's a Fortune 500 company. But my favorite thing about Michael Saylor, throw the Bitcoin out the window. 3 years ago, he started investing in Bitcoin. Okay. His company was worth $1.2 billion. Today, it's $5.4 billion in 3 years. Name me another company that's gone from $1 billion to $5 billion. The only thing he did different is he bought Bitcoin. And whether you like Bitcoin or not, it doesn't matter. He bought crypto. Let's just call it that. He bought crypto and took a massive company and made it 5 times bigger than it is. But that guy's an idiot. And he's stupid and he doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm just laugh when I see these comments.
Oh, like, I know. I can't believe he can be a little dry sometimes, but that man is brilliant to me.
Yeah.
He saw it a lot clearer and a lot sharper and a lot sooner than I did. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I understand what Jim's saying, and there's a lot of people that think Bitcoin's going to zero, and I suppose that could be a big giant government rug pull. I know all the conspiracies. Yeah, possibly. I mean, it really could be, but you can't deny the fact that his company went from 1 billion to 5 billion already. Done. You can't take that. You can't. I don't know about you, but there's not a lot of companies that created $4 billion in what everybody's calling a recession. He did, despite that's not maybe did that. So
Yeah.
it's tough to like, and he's a rocket scientist, like literally. It
Yeah.
wasn't just computers, it was rockets too. And it's like, okay, yeah,
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 I've heard all the theories, and I still, Dad, I still lean onto the good of Bitcoin. I still, you know, you get in, you understand fundamentals and you understand blockchain, and then you look at it, you know,
yeah,
look at
and
it through that scope, not what people are necessarily going to do with it.
yeah,
You know, not what agencies are going to rug pull it,
right.
but what does the individual user do with it?
That's right.
Um, you know, is there a way to steal it through back doors? Is there a way to turn it off? Is there a way to all that stuff? Like, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't think
Yeah,
so. I just don't. But
yeah,
I've been wrong before.
right.
So
Yeah.
we will see, Jim. We will see.
It yeah,
Um,
and it's very
it's what it spawned is what's great about
there,
Bitcoin to me.
and
It's what it
there's a lot of
started.
yeah, there's a lot of confusion as to what the two like the biggest battle is between XRP and Bitcoin in our group. And
Mhm.
uh, there's a lot of misinformation towards Bitcoin because a lot of people who really are on in the army don't know anything about it, or what they do know about it, they've heard people say negative things and they haven't done a lot of the homework. Okay. But anyway, that being said, they're totally different products. One is a bar of gold in a vault, okay, with a massive computer network around it that has never been breached and probably who knows, probably never will be, because there's some brilliant minds and a lot of money behind keeping it that way today.
Mhm.
The other one is more like a credit card. They're two totally different things. One is transactional and one is a hunk of bar of gold that stores wealth. And they're two totally different objects. And
Yeah.
everybody compares the two together and thinks, oh, well, mine's faster and mine's more efficient. Of course, the credit card is more efficient than grabbing a bar of gold from the vault and chipping off a piece and going to the store and buying something. That's dinosaur. Okay, we understand, but that's not what Bitcoin is meant to do. And once you understand what the banks, remember now we're talking about the BIS, and we're talking about the IMF, who have now decided that it is collateral. When you understand, when they deem something to be collateral, they're not fighting against it anymore. That's what a lot of people are missing. They're like, oh, well, no, they could still overturn it and outlaw it or do. No. Why would
It's a
they do that?
sellable product to them now.
Right. It's something, another thing that they can inflate and blow bubbles into and
Mhm.
create more wealth and loan more money. That's all it
Yeah.
is to them. That's what cars are. That's what homes are. That's what all assets are to them. They just have a brand new toy to inflate. Why would they pop that bubble? When
Mhm.
their whole Ponzi scheme is to create more digits, and that can create billions of digits for them, trillions, even trillions. Why would they pop that bubble? Give me a good reason. That nobody comes up with one.
No.
They always say, "Oh, well, you know, whoever it is, Homeland Security created it, or whatever they call it. I don't know. Drives me.
Yeah. Yeah. People say CIA. People say
Yeah,
sorts of stuff.
right.
Maybe. What's cool in since then is people like us have created blockchain. I've worked on making blockchain. So, you know,
Right.
and I've, read people's books and studied people's companies, and so have you guys. And it's just so cool that like even if all of them got shut down tomorrow, the whole thing gone.
Yeah.
We all know how to do it. We all know how to build it. The information's there.
Yep. Yep.
People have the universe said yes. Boom. This.
Yeah.
We need balance. We need security. We need fairness in money. We need the truth.
Yep.
And yeah, I hope it's that time for us. I hope it's that wave the next couple decades, everybody. I hope it's the time for truth.
Well, this is
We
another argument that I get all the time that Steve just posted. Bitcoin has no real use case. It is only based on human belief, like tulips at the beginning of the century. Except for one thing you're missing. Bitcoin turns electricity into money.
Mhm.
You didn't think of that. Electricity can be sold to people to use in their house to power things, but it can't be packaged up. Well, a car battery, but it can't be packaged up and sold to corporations. That's what Bitcoin does. Bitcoin turns cheap electricity, green electricity, any electricity into a form of cash that can be spent today or 100 years from today. So telling me it doesn't have a use case, it turned probably the most important commodity of the future of man, electricity, into a dollar figure, a storage of electrical wealth in a vault. That's kind of important because almost every power company in the world has to make more electricity than they use because they never know if they're going to need more demand that it can't guess. So what do they do with that extra electricity every day? They can store it in Bitcoin. And when you can store something that, like I have a solar panel, when my batteries are full, I don't have anywhere to put the electricity. I have another 4 hours where I could have made money. I could have made electricity because it's still sunny out today, but my batteries are full. I'm losing money. That's the same thing with power companies. Well, now when they're at peak demand and they're making more than that, where do they put it? Power companies don't have a battery. So where do they put the electricity? They make Bitcoins with it because they can store the Bitcoin and they can sell it next week when they don't have enough electricity. If you don't think that's use case, well, I beg to differ. It's global use case. And the poorest nations in the world are discovering this. And the poorest nations in the world happen to have rivers, happen to have a lot of sunlight. They happen to have geothermal. And geothermal is virtually free coming out of the ground. And they can take something that's virtually free for them and put it into Bitcoin. And they're doing that. Now, I know you can mine other things with it, right? You could mine gold, but it's really hard, if you think about it, to mine gold with electricity. Very hard.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody who says Bitcoin isn't green, well, to mine gold, you have to dig up oil. Okay. To mine Bitcoin, you can use electricity. I'm just saying. There's a lot of those things that people don't think about. And it's really hard because they shut their mind off to, well, wait, maybe I should reanalyze it. Maybe I should think of it from a different perspective. Yeah, it's hard sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, Christy's in the house.
What's up, Christy?
Yep, she was at the XRP event. Yep.
Sean made it. What's up, bro?
Patty.
Desi Lou from Kauai. We got yo. What up, Ben?
Yep.
Got Kung Fu Tuber. Everybody made it. everybody made it, Dad. We went, a nauseating almost 2 hours now. And no, I love this one. I think this is one of our best ones. So there's so much ground covered, and when we tune into what you guys are talking about, it just makes for so much better of a chat. So really appreciate it, everybody.
Yeah. Patty, we kind of covered that earlier. Unfortunately, with the whole ETH thing, I don't know a whole lot about it, but we did kind of cover over the basics of it. It's going to be fun, man. I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a lot come out about that. But here's why I know that's going to be huge in the future, because there's a lot of exposure about a lot of different things. What was that Menendez guy who just got popped that we were talking about earlier in the show? There's people who are getting busted in our government in the US for fraudulent acts. And our buddy Gary Gensler kind of comes to mind. But like people like that, and the family of, the whole FTX affair and everybody that's involved in that whole mess, all of those things are exposure. When that exposure all starts avalanching and more of the everyday public starts catching on to that kind of stuff, it grows. And then they get more and more absurd and they make bigger mistakes. And then the next thing you know, they're really exposed. And then they have to start cutting bait or throwing their friends under the bus. And then it really gets out of hand. So we'll have all that to look forward to, I suppose, if you're into that.
watching the lizards eat each other.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I would never take enjoyment.
No. Yep. Yeah, Christy was.
It's funny to see him get caught. It's funny. It's like, okay, justice is served here. You were caught. Okay, you told people not to do this, and you were actually guilty of that very thing.
Yeah.
It's a little humorous. A little bit.
It's very humorous.
Yeah.
That's good. And the other one is, God, I forgot who it was, a great economist too. I just heard, he said, wow, it's really crazy how all the senators are better at picking stocks now than all the experts. It's the craziest thing. Like they're all nailing these trades, and they're not making any bad trades. And it's just, they're magical. Like they shouldn't even be politicians. Why would they do a politician's job for $250,000 a year? When they're making tens of millions of dollars a year picking these stocks.
Yeah.
The way he put it was so perfect. I was like, yeah, that's all coming to a head too. Yeah.
Because if they sell it, Dad, they don't have to pay taxes on it. No. And you have to sell it once you get into office, correct?
That's right. That's right.
So to why some of these people have done that in the past that I got into it is like, it was the best financial decision of their life to do so.
Yep. Yeah.
Hey, what were you gonna say, Dad?
I was gonna say, hey, Jimmy, man, no problem, man. No, everybody has different picks, and everybody loves different coins, and for different reasons, and we don't all have the same knowledge. You know what I mean? We just like, I have my favorites, and I honestly can tell you that I have more than one coin.
Yeah, same.
No,
all the love, Jim. The Spicy Award
totally.
is high honors in this group right here. Like, if we're not mixing it up, if we're not saying what are we
doing here? Yeah,
what are we doing here? Yeah,
keep me honest, brother.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
please.
I mean, I love Sean Robbins.
Both Seans are killing right now.
I know.
Both Seans are killing. Sean with a W. This is like my new quote of my life, dude. I'm a mere novice myself. I'm a
That's
mere
so good.
novice myself, man.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's everything.
Um,
I'm excited to see if he goes to hell.
yeah, that was good, wasn't it? Gotta love us some Sean. Uh,
Oh, yes, sir.
relaxation through exotic music. Yeah, let me just say something, okay? And I'm not trying to throw Miss Zhang under the bus at all. Um, however,
Oh my God.
um, let me just say this. If you had put I've listened to her off and on for I think since 2012, 13, 14, somewhere in there. Whenever she got started, let's remember she sells gold for a living. That's where her boss sells. That's who she works for. That's what she promotes. I've heard her bag on cryptos for a decade now. Okay. And okay, she's entitled to her own opinion, right? But she's been telling me about $50,000 gold for 15 years, 10 minimum, right? So, had I'm just every time I hear her say that everybody needs to put their 10, 20% of their money into this, I just can't help but thinking, had they put 10% of their money in Bitcoin 10 years ago, they would be filthy rich. And she was hating on it 10 years ago. And she's supposedly a financial expert who is financially studies this all day long, every day, who knows how to pick something that earns you money, right? How did she miss the biggest investment in the last 10 years? Is my only question. Now, having said that, I think she's entertaining. I think she's really good. I think she brings up a lot of great points. I'm going to the Silver Symposium this weekend. I do believe in precious metals. I just you have to take some of this stuff, for what it is, right? Um, that's all I have to say about it. I started buying precious metals in 1980. I know I say this a lot, but I was buying futures contracts on silver in 1980. In 1980, silver was $50 an ounce. Today it's, I don't know, 18, 25, whatever it is. Half of that. That's all I have to say about that.
Wow.
It's half the price. And that's 40 years ago. So depends on when you buy it, right?
Yeah. It does.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to give her a hard time. I know it. I think it's probably a good investment today, but I don't know that. Yeah.
Who ordered extra spicy? Me.
I did
Yes,
too.
truth, always truth over favorites. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's 50,000 silver by 2025. He. Digital Dirt, good to see you. Yeah, it's time's gonna tell on all this.
Yeah, it is.
It's gonna be really this is gonna be fun to be in it with all of you because we get some positive trends going here, and it's gonna be exciting. Bulls are exciting.
Yes, this yeah, I love it, Sean. You're absolutely right. They are about to get smacked in the face. It's really not looking good for them right now. The whole Lubin and consensus mess is going on. It's not going to be fun for those guys. Yeah. So, yeah, Patty, watch the replay.
We'll let's wrap it up, Dad.
Yeah, definitely.
But I
It's been
really
2
enjoyed
hours,
this
for
one.
God's sakes.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one with all of you.
God, this was great.
Yeah, let's get after it next Sunday. we'll be in Vegas, so we got to figure that out, Dad. Do you think same time, same bat channel?
I don't. What's the what's
We're gonna
the?
have to we're gonna
I
have to
don't know what the
post it.
itinerary is. I don't
Mhm.
know when the thing starts or whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna have to let y'all know about next week.
Yeah,
Um, I'm gonna figure out how to do that.
yeah, we'll stay in touch. I think we could probably do a show in the morning, maybe or something like that. I don't know. We'll probably be
Mhm.
exhausted too, but anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it should be good.
Yeah, Cody, we're gonna shoot a bunch in Vegas, and we want you guys to get um, the gold nuggets of what we got out of the seminars, the lectures,
Yeah,
all of it. So we're gonna get together. I'm gonna take notes, and make sure and get you guys some good info on all of that. So it's like you're there.
yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're
Mhm.
gonna try and do our best to keep you guys informed of what's going on and make you guys feel like you're there. Actually, so yeah, stay close, and we'll do a couple shows too. I would imagine some interviews. I don't know. Interviews are kind of tough for me, but maybe we could give it a go. But yeah, we appreciate you guys all for being here.
Yep.
And we should get out of here and get on with our weekend, Brent.
Let's do it. Everybody enjoy your Sunday. Have a great week. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you so much for all the comments in the chat.
Yeah.
It's so great talking to all of you. With that, Dad,
Yeah.
we are
Oh,
out. But then it's